a great honor and pleasure to have this very special opportunity to be with all of you in our beloved Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's personal office, Shri Shri Radha Ras Bihari Temple. Special gratitude to Brajahari Prabhu, Kapila Dev Prabhu, Mukunda Madhav Prabhu for so kindly welcoming me, and to all of you for giving your precious time. Kapila Dev Prabhu was telling us that today is Republic Day. Very special. There's a famous lecture in the early 70s given by His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. It was probably filmed by our beloved Yadubar Prabhu, who is gracing the occasion tonight, where there are, it looks like it's a black and white film because it was in the early days. It looks like there are tens and thousands of people sitting there in the audience, and they're very enthusiastically listening. And it's Bengal. And Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he actually grew up very close to where I grew up. I just lived a few miles from the border of Wisconsin. And he was from Wisconsin. Midwest United States. In the 1960s, when he was just a teenager, he came to the path of bhakti. And he came to India to assist Srila Prabhupada. In a few years, interestingly, Wisconsin is called the dairy state because it is famous for cows. Millions of cows. So he came from there. And within a few years, he was speaking fluent, perfect Bengali language. And he was teaching the religion, the scriptures, and the culture of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Bengali to Bengalis. And tens and thousands of people were coming to hear this young American boy in his early 20s speaking to them about their heritage and their cultures, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, in such beautiful Bengali. In fact, Srila Prabhupada was so impressed by him that he told our Srinathji Prabhu, who's also here, told Srinathji's father, please arrange Indian citizenship for Jayapataka Swami. He is a personal associate of Lord Chaitanya. And in this movie, he's speaking such enthusiastic Bengali. I don't know what he was saying, but he was talking about Krishna. And at a certain point, at the crescendo of the talk, when everybody's at the edge of their seats, he screams out, the United Nations of the spiritual world. Confirmed. That's the Bombay conch shell, the horns of the cows, invoking auspiciousness. And for us, of course, we are so honored and grateful, this great land of India. and all those people who are defending and protecting the land of India. But there's also a spiritual Republic Day. I believe Republic Day is the day when the Constitution was authorized. Yes? To unite us on common principles. Bina Prabhu, my dandavats for you. Thank you. Our Constitution is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita are the scriptures whose principles constitute our individual lives and how we should live together. What is our purpose? What do we have in common? What are the spiritual regulative principles, the rules, the laws, the inspiration, the philosophy toward creating the spiritual world in this world? Srila Prabhupada named this project Heaven on Earth, yes? Heaven means not Swargaloka, it means, in this sense, Vaikuntha Loka, the spiritual world. But we need a constitution. And Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, and the author of our constitution is Srila Vedavyas, the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, books are the basis. The teachings of Sri Bhagavatam is the very basis of our lives. Savai pungshang paro dharmo yatho bhaktir hokshaja hoitaki apratihata yatma suprasidati. That the supreme Dharma can be explained in many ways. Occupation, religion, the moral codes of what's right. But Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas gave such a deep meaning of Dharma. Dharma means the inseparable nature of a person or a thing. The dharma of a chili pepper is it is hot. You will never bite into a very menthol, freshing, cool chili pepper. It's hot. The nature of sugar is it's sweet. The nature of every living being is to serve. We all have to serve something or someone. We're either serving our nation or our family, or we're serving our mind and senses. So in our occupation, or in our family life, our Kula Dharma, we have so many responsibilities to serve. But what is the inseparable constitutional nature of the Atma, our eternal self? That is Sanatana Dharma, our essential eternal service. And that is service to Bhagavan, to the absolute truth, to God, Krishna. And this verse of Bhagavatam that says the supreme Dharma is unconditional, unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving service to the Supreme Lord. Only that will really satisfy our hearts, because that is our nature. Srila Prabhupada explains, if you take a fish out of water and put that fish in the sand, you can give that fish the most beautiful Miss Arabian Sea, the most beautiful female fish to lay by his side. He can give you jewels, silks, can give him a Mercedes-Benz. But he'll never be happy. Not really happy. He could be superficially, temporarily, transiently happy by those things. But he's not in his nature. It's his nature to be in the sea. So it is our nature to love God. It is our nature to serve God. It is our nature to see the world as God's property. It is our nature to see every living being as Krishna's children. And that will make us happy. Because that's what the soul, that's what the heart is yearning for, longing for. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam are not just theoretical theses. I remember some years ago I was invited to speak in a academic circle in Kentucky of the United States. And some scholars spoke, I spoke, and some other people spoke. And as we were coming out in the parking lot, one PhD professor, he was with his wife, he came up to me and said, "I don't understand why you serve Krishna." He said, "I got my PhD in Gita Govinda." He knows it by memory. Absolutely. He started reciting all these verses. In beautiful voice. He was a musician too. He was reciting Gita Govinda. He said, "I know every word of it. And I also studied profusely, and I'm a professor teaching thousands of students over my career the Bhagavad Gita." He started reciting verses. And he said, "Why would anyone worship a God that hides in the bushes with young ladies?" I told him, "You may have gotten your PhD in the postgraduate study of all scriptures, the Gita Govinda, but you can't understand it properly unless you go back to the first and second chapters of Bhagavad Gita. First you have to understand who Krishna is. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvalokam suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim rachjati." Krishna explains the peace formula to understand that the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Lord, Krishna, is the proprietor of everything that exists. It's the supreme controller of all controllers, the ultimate enjoyer of everything, and the best loving, well-wishing friend of all beings. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matu sarvam pravartate iti matva mahbhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my loving service and worship me with all their hearts. If Krishna is the proprietor of everything, if Krishna is the father and the mother of every living being, your body is Krishna's property. And something else. Your wife, she was standing there, she she is Krishna's property too. The problem is not that Krishna's in the bushes with somebody else's wife, somebody else's property. The problem is you go to bed with Krishna's property. What about that, Mr. PhD? Did you create her, or did Krishna create her? Are you maintaining her? You give her some money, but who's giving the sun, and who's giving the rain, and who's giving the air, and who's giving all the seeds of the earth, and who's giving the trees to make the paper for the money? It's not you, it's Krishna, it's the Lord. You know what his reply was? I was being very respectful, but I was also not very happy with his question. So we have to understand the basic principles before we could understand these very high subjects. Krishna's Leela, these gopis, are absolutely pure, liberated souls who have surrendered their hearts and souls to Krishna. And Krishna dancing with gopis is the ultimate expression of the highest form of spiritual love. Shukadev Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, the most detached, renounced philosophers and yogis throughout the history of the world. They honor the love of Krishna and the gopis as the highest pinnacle of spiritual revelation, the purest form of spiritual love. And his reply to me was, myself and my wife are late for breakfast. And they went for breakfast. I said, thank you very much. Enjoy your breakfast. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Take us from the most elementary, fundamental, simple principles of spirituality, of who we are, to understanding who is God, what is material nature, what is karma, of how the laws by which material nature work, how we're affected by time, the all-powerful time which never stops. And what are the relationships between the jiva, the soul, God, time, material nature, prakriti, and karma? And the laws of nature are given. You see, the laws of the Constitution, they make amendments every now and then because they see they don't work. But the laws of God, there's no need for amendments. They're applied by great acharyas according to time, place, and circumstance, kala, desha, patra. But they're teaching eternal truths. Srila Prabhupada explained, you could change almost everything in this world. You could change your religion. You could change your nationality. You can change your job. You could change your husband or wife. And with the power of modern science, you could change your sex. You could change practically anything. And whether you like it or not, by the power of time, you're going to have to change your body and everything you have connected to your body at the time of death. But there's something that's unchangeable, the essence, Sanatan Dharma. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. That we are all eternally part and parcel of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he performed the Ratha Yatra, this beautiful parade, which symbolizes the highest revelation of the gopis headed by Sri Radha, bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan, Gundicha, after so many years. And during that Ratha Yatra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting the Mahabhava of Srimati Radharani, offering the innermost thoughts of love of her heart to Jagannath. And by his grace, through Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that dynamic relationship is being shared with the whole world. But how does he begin Ratha Yatra? With a simple prayer. Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudra. I'm not a brahmana, or kshatriya, vaishya, or shudra. I'm not a sannyasi, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha. What is my true identity? What cannot be changed? What is my ultimate aspiration? Gopi bhartur padakamalayor das 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 anudas. To be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis, Shri Krishna. And from that simple prayer, he developed the Ratha Yatra into the highest revelation of ecstatic love. Srila Prabhupada made it very simple. He said Ratha Yatra is the meditation of bringing Krishna back into our hearts. By cleaning our hearts, Krishna will reveal himself. And then our heart becomes Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, who has come to taste and distribute the love of Sri Radha, is considered to be the very personification of the highest conclusions of Srimad Bhagavatam. And his principle was Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Inconceivable, simultaneous one and difference. This concept encompasses so many aspects of the truth and of relationships built on the foundation of those truths. We are simultaneously one and different from Ishvara, from Bhagavan, the absolute truth. The absolute truth himself is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Bhagavatam explains, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajkanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. This one truth, this one supreme truth from whom everything emanates and the cause of all causes, eternally has three features. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. The all-pervading Brahman. That light that pervades everything that exists. Those who strive to achieve Brahman realization strive for mukti, who they conceive of as to be the all-pervading impersonal. Simultaneously, the Lord is Paramatma. He is personally seated within the heart of every living being. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshya arjuna tishtati. The witness, the guide. And Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Ram, Narasingha, Narayan, who's in the vast, unlimited spiritual sky. There are the beautiful spiritual planets where the Lord is residing and personally reciprocating unlimited, ever-increasing, ecstatic, loving relationships with unlimited devotees. And people say God is great. People think God is great because, he can destroy and he could create. Certainly, he is great because he can destroy and create, because we can't. What can we create? We could take some of the materials God gives us and put them together in different type of formulas and say, I have created. Yes, a man and woman come together, I have created this child. But you didn't know what was going on. Yes, a little seed goes from the man to the woman, and then it starts growing, and nobody has some architectural engineering plan of how this child is going to grow. For first few weeks or months, you don't even know he's there, and it's growing, eyes are coming, and little brain this big starts growing. Little lungs and kidneys and heart, tiny. It's growing in the mother's womb. It's a miracle. Every living being that we look at is a miracle. It's a fact. Inconceivable. And the Lord's within the heart of everyone. And the Lord is always also so great that there are infinite, unlimited living beings. And the Lord could make each one feel that I'm always only with you. Yes? If we try to talk to 10 people in the same room, it's difficult to make sure that everyone thinks that I'm thinking about them. Yes? If you talk to one person a little more than another person, then one person say, why is he showing so much attention to that person? But Krishna can dance with unlimited gopis simultaneously. He could live in 16,108 palaces, and each one, he's with me. God is great. He's Rasa Bihari. That's his ultimate greatness. He's Rasa Bihari. That means he's the enjoyer of unlimited, inconceivable, miraculous relationships of pure love. And he's also Gopinath. Because the gopis are enjoying that Rasa Bihari so much. So you see, there's no conflict between Gopinath and Rasa Bihari. So there should be no conflict with any of their devotees either. Why is he Gopinath? He's Gopinath because he's Rasa Bihari. He's the Lord of the gopis, not because he's throwing thunderbolts every time they think something wrong. He's Gopinath because he's Rasa Bihari. He's the enjoyer of the highest, sweetest Madhurya, ecstasy of love, Ras. And when he wants to bring all the gopis together to perform his Rasa Bihari Leelas, he becomes Giridhari and lifts Govardhan Hill and says, come, 7 days, let us enjoy together. And Madan Mohan, who enchants the hearts of all living beings. So the Lord is inconceivably simultaneously different with himself, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. And the living entity, the Jiva, all of us, we are one with God, but we are also different. Jiva Goswami gives the example of the sun. The sun planet is in one place, has form. But from the sun planet is unlimited sunshine. And within that unlimited sunshine are unlimited sun rays. each sun ray is one with the sun because it's giving out light and heat, exactly like the sun. But if a sun ray comes into your house, you think, oh, so nice, the sun is in my house. But if the sun planet comes in your house, it's a different experience. So the jiva is different from God in quantity, but one. Satchidananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. We are that, one with God. But God is the source of all jivas. We are not. He's the ultimate cause of all causes. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. And we are Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, simultaneously one and different from each other. Just like we are all one, we are all spirit souls. Vijavanaya sampani brahmani gavai hastini suni chaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshana. Real wisdom of a pandit, a learned sage, is to see every living being with equal vision. Whether one is a Brahmin or an elephant or a cow or a dog or someone who eats them. Because one sees the living force is sacred. The living force is part of God. So we are all one, but we're all different. We're all unique. And we're one simultaneous. Everything in nature is simultaneously one and different. In our relationship with nature. So Lord Chaitanya has given this concept of unity in diversity. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret about where I was earlier today. I changed my mind. You may not understand. But even if you don't understand, I'll tell you. I was, first of all, at our Govardhan farm. And then on the way, I was invited to a very mysterious event just to go for a few minutes. It was called the Prana Olympics. Have you ever heard of the Prana Olympics? It will take a long time to explain. But this big company, Prana Animation Company, they're our dear friends. They were having their employees doing these Olympics where there were different teams and they were playing different, challenging contests or whatever. And we brought them some cookie prasad. And they just wanted us to talk. But anyways, what was it? They asked me to give a little talk to some of them. And we explained that the human nature is we all have our individual egos. And in these individual egos we have so many differences. And even if we think we have so much in common, if we spend enough time with each other, we understand that we didn't understand. Whether it's in marriage, whether it's in a nation, whether it's in a temple or an ashram, friends, we have different egos. We have different tastes and different challenges that affect our consciousness. But if we have a common goal, and we focus on that common goal, on the basis of that higher principle, we don't take so seriously the differences we have. In this case, they were doing these kind of sporting things. I didn't play. I just gave a little talk to them. But if they're not united, they can't play together. if they actually want to achieve something, they have to put aside their differences for the higher cause. And this is what yoga, this is what bhakti, this is what our constitution of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is teaching. How to unite on a higher principle. It is our tendency to take superficial things or even important things so seriously that it causes us to be disunited, fractured. Srila Prabhupada said, you could show your love for me by how you cooperate. That's a serious test of love. And he quoted the fable, united we stand, divided we fall. He said if you take a whole lot of little sticks and tie them together, no one can break it. But if you take each stick out separately, you can easily break it. Srila Prabhupada said, our unity is our strength. So in order to actually fulfill our mission, unity is so important. If it's not there, whether we're right or wrong, we can't really accomplish what Krishna wants us to accomplish. And what is that higher principle? Athapumbir dvijastareshtas varanashrami vibhagasha shvanushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. To please Krishna. What will please Krishna? And we have our constitution. It teaches us what pleases Krishna and how to please Krishna. Unity and diversity. Despite our different opinions, the different temples we may be connected to, the different gurus we may be initiated by, the different childhood traumas that we may have gone through, the different educations that we may have. What is it that we have in common? What is it that is there to unify us? We're meant to be the servants of Krishna. We're all meant to share with each other our enthusiasm to chant Krishna's holy names and to serve the Lord and to be instruments of Prabhupada's compassion to the world. That's so high and that's so powerful. Everything else is a detail. We have to be very careful to fix our heart on the Siddhanta. But the nature of the mind and the nature of the ego is to cling to things that will disunite us and cause conflict, thinking that it's all important. Unity and diversity. There's unlimited diversity. Just like a flower garland. We have yellow flowers and red flowers and white flowers, and we have roses that have a certain fragrance, and we have champak flowers that have another fragrance, and we have these white, whatever they are, that really don't have much fragrance at all. But it's not that the rose is saying, you useless white flower, out from here. I'm more fragrant than you. No. There's altogether differences of textures, difference of shape, difference of flavor, difference of color, difference of fragrance. But this string makes it into a beautiful garland. And when we offer it to Krishna, Krishna's very happy. He's very pleased. And all the colors make it all the more nicer. That is unity and diversity. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta prayachchati. Krishna explains in the Gita, even if you offer me a fruit, a little piece of fruit, or a leaf, or some water, or a flower, if it's offered with devotion, I will accept it. Krishna accepts the intention, the devotion in which something is offered. Srila Prabhupada wrote this several times, that Krishna accepts the intent in which something is offered, not the thing. And the beauty of bhakti is materially everyone has full qualifications to attain that perfection if we're simply sincere. And there's a beautiful story in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that reveals there's no impediment if we're sincere. Lord Chaitanya, he had taken sannyas and moved from Navadvip to Puri. Then he went on his South Indian tour and came back to Puri and told the devotees, I am going to Vrindavan. And all the devotees said, then we will go with you. So he started out. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said when he left Puri, there were thousands of devotees with him. There wasn't any buses or trains or planes. They were just all dance. That was their transportation, dance. They didn't just walk, they danced. Kirtan, constantly. Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya is dancing and singing and everyone's coming with him. And everywhere they went, they would stop in some little village. People were so attracted to his beauty, his beautiful golden form, his lotus-like eyes gazing with unlimited ecstatic love at each person. He would raise his long arms and induce them to chant the holy names, and when they would chant, Lord Chaitanya would be so pleased with them, he would embrace them and say, because you have chanted Krishna's names, you are my life and soul. Their hearts melted. Then when he would leave the village, practically every person of the village left with him. Men, women, children, their jobs, their school, they just left, following him. And soon there were millions of people with him. Kaviraj Goswami, the number he gives is koti koti. And Prabhupada translates that as countless, innumerable, unlimited people were with him. And it says everywhere he stepped, people were so enthusiastic they wanted to get dust from his lotus feet. And so many people were going to the same footprint that within seconds after he stepped in a place, there was a hole in the ground. Not like Bombay. Bombay has many holes in the road, but these were sacred holes in the road. And he came to Navadvip, to Kuliagram. And there he stayed at the house of the brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And he was there for 5 days, and there were just countless people coming to meet him. Then he went to the house of Madhava, Kuliagram, and even more people were going there. It was just floods of enthusiastic people. And all the people who were offensive and who were arrogant and who, committed grievous deeds, he was forgiving all of them and giving them Krishna prema if they sincerely came forward. Then he continued on his journey to Vrindavan. And there was a simple brahmachari whose name was Narasigananda, who we are honored to have with us tonight. Not the brahmachari, but the Prabhu, who's happily married. Narasimhananda brahmachari had no money, he had no property, he had nothing material, but he had devotion. And he felt so concerned that Lord Chaitanya, from Kuliagram to Vrindavan is a very long walk. It takes weeks to walk that distance. Probably over 1,000 kilometers. So he wanted Lord Chaitanya to have such a pleasurable walk.